Hey guys, so again I'm coming to you a little bit differently today because my computer's not working. So since I want to get these done before I leave for vacation, I decided that I'm just going to do it anyways. So I'm on my phone versus my computer and we're just going to make this happen. So today I already came on, I shared a little bit of our story with you guys just so you could kind of get an idea of what it looks like to kind of start thinking differently. And when we were busted and broke, it was really hard to even begin to think about like pursuing passions. Honestly, it was just like, hey, we've got to work because we've got to pay the bills, right? And so in this video, I'd like to talk a bit more about vocation, career, and job. Like, do you guys know what the difference is in that? I know I didn't. It actually, so after we got out of debt and I had learned about Dan Miller, who I showed you guys his book, 48 Days to the Work You Love. And then I started listening to his podcast and, he's kind of actually been a distance mentor of mine for quite some time. He talks about the difference between vocation, career, and job all the time. And it started to just kind of hit me like, okay, so maybe I have more of a purpose than just having a job. Like, a job's awesome. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just a job. And I hear a lot of young people today talk about, they feel bad because they're having like so many jobs. And I just like to encourage them, like, that's actually pretty normal. A job is not one that you're meant to stay with forever. And quite frankly, honestly, the new generations, it's just statistical that they're going to have 14 to 16 jobs before they actually start with that career job. You guys know what I'm saying, hopefully. So anyways, I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys a little bit. I'm not going to go super in depth, but a little bit about the difference between the three. So part of what it takes to figure out your vocation is to really kind of start asking questions like, who am I? Taking personality tests and stuff like that is really helpful. That's why I had you guys do that in the last chapter of my book. So I will have the link to subscribe to that. It's totally free. I'm not salesy at all. It'll have the free book and coaching videos. And we talked about all the different like personality tests and assessment, strength finders, all of that stuff. So that's all in there, and it's a place to corral all of that information. Hi, Becky. Thanks so much. I love this shirt too, actually. It's one of my favorites. I got it at Goodwill, believe it or not. Anyways, so vocation. Vocation is like an umbrella. That's what I like to think of it as. Your vocation will encompass your values, your dreams, your passions. And I like to think of it almost as a legacy. Like, someday when you're gone and people are talking about you, what will they say about you? Who are you? For me, my hope is that I will leave an impact in this world. I want to leave it a better place than when I came. Kind of like my parents used to teach me whenever we would go stay at places. It used to drive me nuts. I love them to death. But we'd go somewhere and they'd always want to clean it better than it was. And I'm like, what the heck? We pay someone to do that, don't we? But they always said we need to leave it better than when we came. And so that's kind of been ingrained in me. And that's kind of what I feel about the world. I want to leave the world a better place than when I came. And I like to teach. I just have to teach. This is what I do. I can't even help myself. Like, if I'm not teaching, I start teaching on like funny things. Like, I start teaching on food, and my brother makes fun of me because I'll do all the like, oh, I can taste like the nuttiness of this. And I start to like overly describe things, or like I watch a movie and I have to overanalyze it for about 3 hours afterwards. I have to teach. It's just a part of who I am. So within that, though, there's a lot of things that can fit. If you have an overarching vocation, your careers and jobs can change multiple times within that and not change your identity. It still fits within that. So for example, I was a well, I've taught. I've been the children's director at my church. I've worked at a tutoring company that specifically helped kids with dyslexia, and I took that as a personal mission to help every mom who called, to help them feel better and give them encouragement. Then I was going to go into insurance, which seems like that would not be connected at all to making an impact, or teaching, or, leaving the world a better place. But what I was able to wrap my mind around was, you know what? Most of us don't understand our insurance, and I love helping people with their finances. So this is just one way I could teach people about their insurance, what it does, what they don't really need, all of that. And so I had actually wrapped my mind around how I could still make that a part of my vocation. Now we didn't end up doing insurance, and that's awesome, because it really wasn't the best fit for me career and job wise. But I could have made it that, right? So knowing that can help direct you to what kinds of careers and jobs you can do. But it will encompass, it's basically, you can think of it as almost like a calling, your purpose, your mission, your destiny. And we all have one. All of us have some form of meaning in our life, right? It will align with your gifts, talents, personality traits, your passions, and within it, you can find work that is meaningful, purposeful, and profitable. Whether you go and just get, a job or a career and that fits within there and you build it and all that, or you create it, you get a side gig. This is something that I wish, and I love MLMs. I am a person who's had many types of businesses. And this is one thing I wish that they would teach, because the truth is, in so many of these businesses, say, for example, one that I did was paparazzi. I sold $5 jewelry. I was able to work this into my vocation because I love helping women feel better about themselves. So I was a stylist who helped women with their closets and budget-friendly fashion. And the jewelry just happened to be something that I sold. So you guys see how I kind of worked that? There are plenty of jobs and careers that fit within that. Even being a teacher, which is something I am, doesn't mean in the classroom. Hey, Janae's on here. In fact, she's an excellent example of this. She teaches Zumba, and she also leads other teachers who teach Zumba. So she's a fantastic example of that. And so I can fit many careers in that. Okay. So looking at career then, career is a line of work. It is the second. So you got vocation is the overarching. Then under that is career. And that's usually something we find ourselves doing for a longer period of time. You can have 2 to 3, 4 even careers within your vocation, but they still fit within whatever that overarching theme is. So for me, being a teacher, that can be in private school. It can be in a classroom setting, public. I was actually a homeschool mom for a little while there. I can teach things like, arts, crafts. I can teach online. And like I said, if I'm not actually teaching, I'm still teaching, and that can be things like talking about movies and food, and I really do overanalyze and talk about everything. But you can also teach in a TV you can have your own Facebook TV show, a podcast. There's so many different ways and formats that you can use to teach. You can teach skills. You can teach things like style, fashion, makeup, whatever you're passionate about. You can teach on those things. There's so many ways you can fit this. So there's lots of careers that can fit into your vocation. For me, everything I'm passionate about becomes an opportunity to teach, because that's what I do. That may not be you. You may be someone who that does something different. I just know that I was a teacher because I can look back at even when I was a kid. My grandma says I used to drag my poor brother along and we would play school, and I would make worksheets for him and make him do homework. That's how much being a teacher is ingrained in me. And the cool thing is you can look back at your childhood and what have you always naturally done? Dance is another one. I always have choreographed and danced, which, I don't know, Janae, did you do that when you were younger? I'd be super curious to hear because you're a fantastic dancer. And anyways, I just did stuff like that. I loved fashion as a young kid. I also, funny enough, was an excellent lizard catcher. I don't really know what that fits, but maybe I should have been a pet store owner or something. Hey, Laurie, hi. Anyways, so a career, you can have several careers within a vocation. I hope that's clear. There's so many types of careers that you can have within your vocation. Okay. Finally is job. So you have vocation, career, and job. Guys, it is normal for a job to last like 2 years. Like that's average. That is actually the average. 2.2 years is what the average is for a job. Okay. So, you know, and they are saying kids coming out of school right now and entering the job world will have 14 to 16 jobs before they settle on a career. So that's just normal. But this is like working at McDonald's. You know, I worked several jobs. I was a babysitter. I worked at Dairy Queen, Burgerville, Kmart, and then I was in the military. So those are the jobs I had. And they were great. They were perfect for me to learn all kinds of things. And that's what you do. You build your skills and you learn all those life skills, those life experiences while you have your job. Hey, Charlene. Hey. And so the goal is to continue to move you closer to your career and to your calling. But there is a trap here. Something you have to be really careful of is that you will get good at many things. But like I tell a lot of women, like, look, we are really capable, right? We're super capable. Men, you too. You are super capable. But just because you're good at something doesn't mean that's what you're supposed to do for your whole life. Like I am good at a lot of things. I'm actually really good at admin stuff, but I hate it. If I had a job in admin, yeah, actually I've had jobs in admin. In fact, when I was in the Army, my job was an admin type job and I did not love it. So, you have to be really careful because just because you're good at something doesn't mean that's what you're supposed to do. So, the goal for all of this is to start moving closer to your preferred lifestyle plan, which is something that I'm going to talk about in the next video that I do. But some of the questions you can start asking yourself, and this will actually be in the workbook in my book. Again, I'll put the link so it's totally free, not salesy, all of that. But some of the questions to, if you're not going to do the book, write this down on the top of a piece of paper. Totally good. Do that too. You can do either way. But what am I doing now that I love? And this doesn't have to just be work. Guys, this can be volunteering. It can be a side gig. It can be a sport, a hobby, a craft. It does not matter. What do you love? What do you enjoy doing? Like when you do this thing, time flies by and you're like, oh, crud, it's already, 11 p.m. What do you enjoy doing? So 2 separate pieces of paper. What am I doing now that I love and what do I enjoy doing? I want you to write down, what do I need to add into my life? In fact, I was talking with a girlfriend today and something I need to add into my life is dance more regularly. Like I started to do that and I haven't been doing it again. I've gotten into a place where I'm not dancing like I want to. And I need to add it back in. I do because I love it so much. It brings me so much joy and energy, right? And then even probably the most important question is, what do you need to take out? What are you doing that is not bringing you joy, that sucks the energy out of you? How can you start to take it out? I know that's not easy because some of you have jobs that you don't love. We've been there, done that. And it's not like you can just say, oh, well, I'm just going to quit my job. I get that. You can do that, right? But could you be working towards something else? Could you start thinking about, could you take, like a book, like 48 Days to the Work You Love and work the process and either find a job that you love or create a job you love. Listen, I'm not going to tell anyone to quit their jobs. That's not what I'm here for. But I do feel like there's many ways to add things in that do bring you joy and love in your life. And so what are some of those things that you can do? All right, I think I've got one more video to finish up with. That will probably come either later today or tomorrow about pursuing your passions. And then for next week, in the book, it's next week. I'll do it this week before I leave. We're going to start talking about creating community, which I'm super duper excited about. All right, have a good day, guys. See you later. Bye.